Good evening everyone, and I'm working through some of my unbuilt kits which are in the loft, and I've got a few JLTVs to do, and I've just got some figures out of some boxes and others I've just finished off from the work pile. But here we have half a platoon of JLTVs. So the JLTV light platoon, I'm expanding it to 27 troops, and it will have 3 of the RWS equipped, remote weapon station equipped JLTVs, and 3 with the GPK turret there, gunner protection kit that stands for, and one of the 6 will have the javelin mounted as here, ready to go in an anti-tank or anti-personnel, anti-bunker configuration. Now, firstly, everything in What If Malagasy operates under the watchful eye of their own drones, both lethal drones and reconnaissance drones. So say this 3-strong half platoon is setting out on a mission. The first thing they will do, and at various points in the mission, is they'll send up some of these lightweight drones, which can be recovered if they're not lethal, and that will give them top cover. So the idea is, and I agree with Bad Lieutenant, is not to have a fair fight. Now, let's have a look at these units, and half a platoon can dismount effectively either 8 or 7 personnel. So the half which has got the gunner protection kit can dismount 8. The half which has 1 and not the 2 gunner protection kits can dismount 7. Now, you could quite easily do this so that you could have 4 JLTVs out on patrol, which is a better number because 4 works a bit better than 3. And your last JLTV, whether it was a gunner protection kit or RWS, would have an additional 2 dismounts, which would either give you 9, which is a standard Malagasy infantry section, or it would give you 10, which again works well. Now, what they've done here is to say if they are meet some resistance. This unit here has got the GPMG out, the M240 FN mag. This is the number 2 for the gun there, and this guy's got a DMR. Now, if they got into contact, one of them would probably send up a lethal drone as well. And then these guys here would work round the flank, either to get into a flanking position to launch an assault onto the target and then fight through. So it gives you a range of options, and the idea here is that these JLTVs want to get onto the flank to fire into the flanks. So let's say that they're attacking a position here and they're doing a flanking manoeuvre. Well, this JLTV would be moving backwards and forwards in an overwatch position because nothing stays stationary. These guys will be moving positions, but they'll be laying down a base of fire, and they will be putting the fire down here. Say this is a position here, and these guys have moved around the flank to take the flank. Once they've fought through the position and these guys have switched fire, they will then reorganise over here somewhere, not on the position because they don't want to get counter artillery. The other JLTVs will come in, an all-round defence taking place, and then the last JLTV will bring up, come round the flank, safe route, and again into an all-round defence, and then the whole thing will progress again. So that's the idea of what they will be doing. Now, it's easier to move in bounds with 2 vehicles than it is with 3, but the 3 system does work in the case that you can just bound 2 forwards, and then you can have 1 in a cover position, and then when these have gone into a cover position or gone firm, as they say, then this one can move up and so on. So it does work, and the Malagasy section is really designed so that it's ultimately flexible. So in this case, where they've put down 7 dismounts, you can either have 4 in this fire team and 3 in that fire team, and they can pepper pot forwards, or you can have 4 in the assault group and 3 in the fire support group, or the gun group as it used to be called. So there's numerous ways of doing it. Why do they use 3 or 4 for assaulting? Well, they use that primarily for close quarter combat, and that depends on where you're going with rooms. Now, the whole idea of this half platoon, and ideally it would have another vehicle just for completeness, is that if you've got 6 vehicles, 6 and 1 section can be back looking after the harbour, 4 can be out patrolling and doing operational tasks, and that's kind of the inherent flexibility into it. These can all be underslung by CH-47s or CH-53s, XC-142s. They're easily loadable into Herculeses and A400s. They weigh about 7,500 kilograms. And the whole idea of this platoon is it's very easy to move. Now, there are further additional light platoons which are coming, and they're equipped with the DAGOR, Polaris DAGOR, or DAGOR as it's called. That's a 5 crewed vehicle with a 50 cal, or with the MZR, which is the, MRZR, which is the lightweight assault vehicle. So there's lots of flexibility in the light forces, and the idea of these is that these are the basis for my airborne and amphibious forces. So again, there's lots of different ways to cut the cake and lots of different ways to do it. 7 is normally what you'd have dismount from a British Army Warrior infantry fighting vehicle. 7 is what you'd have dismounted from most infantry fighting vehicles. It's 6 for the Swedish CV90C because the extra armour imposes a weight restriction. The Puma, the German Puma, is 5, which is quite light, and then various combinations in between. So my Namers was disgorged 7, my Boxers would disgorge 7. I tend to work in 9 and 3s, but if you were out patrolling, you'd probably have a 4th vehicle with you, just because it makes bounding easier, because you can bound as pairs. Now, it doesn't always have to, like I said, work that way. You could have this one with the Javelin take up an overwatch position, while these 2 vehicles here go bounding forwards towards an area of concern. Now, the whole idea of the JLTV platoons, whether they're airborne or amphibious, is that they're not there to take on tanks, and they're not there to take on heavy enemy formations. They do have anti-tank capability, and they do have the capability to destroy technicals quite easily from the Javelin launcher there. But really what they do is, if they get stuck and they get into a situation where actually they need a load more firepower to do their job, well, they have that firepower in the form of my lethal drones, or in the form of communications back to the M777 155 howitzers, back to the 120mm mortars, back to the AH1Z Vipers, and back to the close air support, which would come with them and serve with them. So they've got a whole range of options. And then in the amphibious attack groups, they will have some tanks, which they won't have in the airborne role. But there's lots going on, so they're not out on their own. The idea is, if they encountered, say, a formation that was over what they could deal with, whether it was regular or irregular, they would actually pull back. They would use fire and manoeuvre to get out of there, and then they would use the drones and the recce systems to call in overwhelming firepower. So they're not out there on their own, but what they are is a way of providing protected mobility for airborne and light forces in a way that's a bit more up-armoured than the Foxhound PPV, which they do use, but the JLTV brings an extra level of warfighting, albeit at an extra level of cost. So I hope that explains some of the decisions there. Maybe right, maybe wrong. That's just the way that my what-ifians do it. But here, if you've got the assault group moving forwards, you've got 2 people that can cover the other 2 while they move forwards. Then these 2 can move forwards. Then these 2 can move forwards. And these 2 can move up, and so on and so on. So you've got that fire group going down, and then you've got a unit of 4 which is able to pepper pot and move forward. So lots of different ways of cutting the cake. It seems very topical at the minute with my dad's birthday, but I just wanted to share that with you and just explain that actually what they can carry is either 7 dismounts in the half that has the 2 RWS JLTVs, or 8 dismounts in the half that has the 2 GPK kits. The Polaris DAGOR unit will be slightly different again, but that's used more for scouting and raiding. But this is just a good way, I think, of giving the airborne troops some much needed protection and much needed mobility. Let me know what you think. These are ForeArt JLTVs from AliExpress. Mixture of Elheim figures here from there over, and AliExpress figures here, and AliExpress drone operators. Now the drone operators are really crucial to modern warfare, and I'm just so keen to get the drones into my formations. And you know what, this vehicle here, the gunner might throw out a drone and high sonic, and then the troops would go forwards. Take care, goodbye.